Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Angela here again today. I'm here to share with you a new tutorial using paper lunch bags. So run on over, come and join me and let's do this together. Right, so this is what I have created using lunch bags. I've been messing around with some paper lunch bags that I got from the lovely Dina. Hello Dina. Thank you Dina. And I thought I must have a go at creating some things with these. So what I've got here is a little pocket, and what I've done here is I'm just showing you this against a sort of book page. So I've got a pocket here with a flap, and if I just put that page down, you've got a pocket in there. You've also got a pocket in here, so you've got a double pocket, really, a hidey place. Then this is the front of it, so you can have a look at all the details on there. And then on the back, I've decorated that as well. It's got the other side of the flap, and we are actually going to stick that down onto the page so that you've got a lifting pocket. So if I had to put that down on the page here and glue that bit down like that, you're able to lift that up and just stick that on the two sides there, and then you can use that as a further tuck spot, or you could just stick it completely down and put some tea dyed paper there and write on the back there. But I thought it would be a nice place just to hide some extra bits, because we all like secret spots, don't we? So that would go onto your page like that. And you could, in my case, I am using a little rose gold clip just to keep it closed. So that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, so it is quite embellished today, lots of details. I couldn't stop myself, so I'm not going to apologize. It's just when you get going with something, it sort of takes me away. So there we go. It's looking quite whimsical, and all my favorite colors. So let's get started, and you can create one for yourself as well. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side. Now the first thing, get my bags out. Now I'm using these paper bags. I'll give you some measurements because I know that someone will ask me. So this is, I think, a pretty standard bag. It is 10 3/4 inches long, and it's just under, let's say, 5 1/4 inches that way. So if I look that up in centimeters, we're looking at about 27.5 centimeters by about 13 centimeters. So that's the bag that I'm using. And Gina sent me a wad of these, so I'm really happy about that. Right, so how did I go about doing this? Well, it wasn't too bad. You've got this flat bit at the base, if you have a look there, and this is going to have two functions. First of all, the way it's lying at the moment, that's going to be the bit at the back here that we stick down. So we'll leave that in the position, and then what I want you to do is take the flap over here. There's some lovely crinkly sound, and match it up on both sides. Let's see, we've got it there, and we want to just match it over there. So grip it there with your hands, and that looks right there. I'll hold it in place, just make sure. So I like this mat because I can check everything. Okay, so you want to push that down, and then get your bone folder or something, a knife or something you can use just to crease that seam nicely across there like that. All right, so there we go. We've got our back flap there that we're going to glue down, and we've got the top of our envelope pocket. All right, so now we've got this end, the other end, that we're going to bring up, and bring it up to the top. So my suggestion here, after making my first one, is not to make this bit too high, this bit here. You want to have enough space that you can fit in your goodies easily without, you know, trying to struggle. So move it up to about that length there. Let's see, is that gonna, I think that's about it for me. All right, I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna squash that bit at the end, and each corner, and just make sure that that's in space and gonna stay in place. There we go. We are going to glue it, so you know, don't worry about that. Now I quite like this little opening here, although I probably will make a bigger one, because I am going to cover that up both sides, and then use your punch and then re-punch that, or you can cut around that if you want. It's up to you, but I'm going to re-punch that. So there we go. You can see we have the makings of our pocket already, with the flap that we're going to have at the back. Doesn't it sound lovely? I love that sound. Okay, so what we want to do now is you want to get your scraps out, which I've done. So here's a whole pile of scraps. The papers that I'm using here today are some prints that went wrong because I was running out of ink, and I've got I've printed on the other side of the paper just not to waste it. So I've got antique Paperie, and I think this is called the Romance collection, but it is a very old one, so I'm not sure if it's still available. I didn't look up that, but you could use any paper you like. So let's start. So the first place I want to start is on the front. So we want to find something that's going to fit on here, and I'm going to keep this more subdued thing pattern for behind, because I don't want everything to be loud. I want a focus point, so I love this, but it's not enough. So we might have to go with a bigger piece, or what is going on here, or we can take this piece, which is also a misprint. So I think I'll use this because it's got a bit of everything. So what we'll do is get your ruler out. I'm going to use my very old bendy, gosh, this has seen some action, I tell you. And I'm going to just tear off that bit over there. If you haven't got one of these tear rulers, go and get them from, I know you can get them from Amazon, the metal ones. So go and have a look there for a, oh, that's not a good spot what I've done there, so let's just pull this out. Right, so we take it again, hold the ruler down, that's why I'm going wrong. This is a thick piece of paper. Right, so let's take the edges away, because that I won't need to save. Right, so we've got a bit of an edge there. And then grab a pencil and just decide how you want to position this. So I think that's a good spot, because I need to tear up here. So I'm gonna say there. And I'm going to say just inside the edge of the bag, like that. And then I want to do it, let's open that up. So if that's my edge at the bottom, like that, I want to do that up to the top of this bit here, which is in line with the edge over there. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use my tear ruler to do that. Right, so put that aside, and let's just first of all tear this straight across. So just line my page up. Okay, that looks about right. So we'll go straight across there. Okay, do you see that I'm pulling it? I'm holding it down on the left and pulling it on the right. That way you don't get the white bit. If I show you what happens when you do that the other way, so if I do it this way, that way also works. Okay, but one of the ways, and I can't remember which now, you get the white bit, which is what we don't want. All right, so just make sure about that. Okay, now I'm going to just tear off a bit here. Yeah. And gosh, I've lost my spot now. Tore the marking right off. What's wrong with me today? Right, so I quite want a little bit of each. I wanted the blue and I wanted a bit of the white. So I'm going to just hold it right here where I want it. There and there. And we're going to take that off. And then we're going to do the same on this side. Turn it around, line it where you want it. That's it there. And see both sides of it. Gosh, I'm taking forever just to tear a piece of paper today. Okay, so there we go. Let's just trim that off. Okay, so we've got the one bit there. So that's really pretty. That's really pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edges and stick that down. So let's do that. Right, so get a bit of ink and let's ink the edges. All right, so let's stick that down. So this is the right way up. Just make sure you're sticking stuff the right way. The little birdie's facing there, so I'll take some of my Fabri-Tac here. Well, I keep saying Fabri-Tac, but it's 3-in-1. Same thing though, it looks the same, does the same job. Right, so now if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't need one for this job today. You know, it's really, use a good glue like this that you know is really going to hold. So you don't have to have a sewing machine to do these things. So let's just stick that nicely down, line it up. There we go. Where's my bone folder? I've lost it already. Oh, it's here. I tell you, we lose implements on these desks, don't we, ladies? So one day, some days I'll lose, I've got about 4 or 5 pairs of scissors and I can lose all of them. I can't find any within 10 minutes. Right, so there we go. I love that. That's so cute, those 2 birds sticking out there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to stick a little piece across the top there, just so that if you're going to use that as a pocket, which we probably are, you don't see all the brown. So I'm just going to make it about a good inch and I'm going to cut that straight across. So let's do that. And then what we'll do is we won't just ink the top of that, and we'll have that for the top. So let's just cut off the end here like that. Okay, and then let's just measure for the inside of that bag, which I think will be about there. And then we're going to stick that just on the inside of the bag. So let me just make, yeah, I think that needs just a little slither off, further slither off there. And then we'll just stick that there. It just reinforces the bag, the top of the bag as well. So just keeps it all in place and makes it more sturdy. And that's what we want. Got a new Fabri-Tac out, glue out today, so it's not all tacky. Right, so be mindful it's not one of those little circly thumb grip things or whatever we call them, those dodgy things. Right, so there we go, we've got this. So now if we open this up, we've got a bit of a, looks like we've got a false lining in the bag there. Now you can sew that if you want, or you can glue these flaps down. You can do that as well, and then that'll keep that together. It's up to you. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to cover this bit here and I want to cover that bit there. So we'll just open that up. We know that we need to come down to that point so that we are not going to have any of the brown sticking out. So I'm just going to take this piece here on the top, the pinky bits, and we're going to do that again. We're just going to gauge it. That's about there. So let's just do that again. I think this is the side I meant to use, ladies, when I was telling you all of that. There we go, that's the side. And the other side gives you the whiter bit. So if you have a look there, that's more white. And when I do it from the left side, you get a nice clean finish. So that's what you want to do. All right, so again, let's just measure it first. So I think I'll use this piece, and we want to just get it just below that crease for the flap. You don't want it in there because then it's going to make it all stiff and awkward. So you want it just below, and mark it with my nail. And I can see I've got to go up there like that. So we'll put on some little bit of distress ink. Like that, like that. We're not going to worry about the bottom, you're not going to see it. Then we'll take this. You see, it was a misprint, so I've just made use of the paper because it's a nice thicker paper. I don't use 80 gram, I use 120 or sometimes 160, depends. Right, so that's nicely up there. Spread this quickly. Get that at the very top. Okay, so that's meeting up nicely. There we go. So we're doing well. Now we're going to do this bit here. So again, same thing. Hopefully that fits. Yippity doo-dah. So that's fine. I'm going to just do both sides and the edge here. How's your weekend going? Well, you know, tomorrow it's meant to be very bad weather here tomorrow, so I'm expecting ice and rain and cold and the last onslaught before spring comes, I suppose. So not looking good. It's definitely a stay at home and craft all day kind of day for me, and I'm not complaining. So hopefully I'll get something done. So there we go. Let's stick that down. Which side do I want at the top? I think that side's prettier. So I'm going to just stick that down there and sort of centralize it a bit. Okay, so that we haven't gone over the crease, so that's made it more pliable like that. So there we have, we're almost done with that. We want to just put something on the top here now. This will work, So this is just an old scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to use some more of the blue up here. We're not going to see that much of it really, but it's going to have I'm going to put a ruffle on it, as you've seen. So let's just, this paper from Artie Mays is one of my favorites. Love that paper. And I think it came from, I'm trying to think now, where did I get that? I think that was in the, I'm not sure if it was the Touch of Spring. I think it was one of her collage kits, and I just really love it. Okay, so that will fit nicely there. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some very light sari silk ribbon that I'm going to use, just taking off these extra threads. It has got a join in, so hopefully this will be long enough, and I'm going to make a bit of a ruffle with this. So let's do that quickly. I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to just pleat it a bit as we go. So that's what we're doing, if you can see, and sew as I go. So that's all we do, we pleat it as we go. Yeah, like that all the way along to the end. So let's do that quickly. Oh, sorry. Right, I'm back. So I'll just cut those off. Right, so that you can see what I've done there. I've just taken the sari silk and I've zigzagged and pleated it across the length. And this is what's going to go on the top of this bag here. So that's what we're going to do there. So we can, I think what I did before was I took another little scrap piece and I just layered it underneath that. So it had a little bit of the rose bit coming through. So I just want to see if I do, in fact I do. I'm going to just take a little bit of that and just put it underneath. It just gives a little bit of the more of the pink coming through. So we'll do, brings a little bit of the pink coming through at the bottom. So that looks quite nice. So let's just stick that on the top. I'll just put this out straight. Okay, so we want to stick that over there, right on the edge, just over the edge, just a little bit over, just make sure that's even, just a little bit more that side, yeah, just a little bit. Awesome. And then we will stick this bit over the top of that. So who's looking forward to spring? I most definitely am. And I have a midterm holiday break from college, so I'm looking even more forward to that. So I get a few days off, which is great. R&R. Right, just make sure you're not going to go over that seam there. Just keep it short of that, because otherwise you're going to make it difficult for yourself. So as long as it's like that, you can move it as close as you want to get that up there, and then just press it all in like I am with my fingers. All right, so that's a bit messy, but it's all right, we'll sort that out. Okay, so there we go. And as again, you can stitch around there if you want. Right, so we've got all those bits covered. We've got our front bit covered. We've got our top sorted. So there we go so far. Now all that remains to be done is to not cover that bit, because that's the bit that's going to be stuck down. We want to cover that separately so that we have a nice crease that's not going to get too thick with more paper. And then we want to cover that bit. Now you can do other things to this. You can put tea-dyed paper, and I think I might do it with this one. So let's just grab some. Okay, so I'm back. So I'm going to just put tea-dyed paper there, and again, you don't have to go all the way in. Don't waste your paper, but it's nice to have a bit of a ruffly edge. So okay, so there we go. Just cut off that little bit there, and that should fit over here like that. Yeah. Okay, and now we're going to fit that over there. Take your glue, go close to the edge, especially if you're not going to sew, and then just straighten that over right to the edge. Look at that, there we go. Okay, so make sure it's nice and flat. Right, so we are pretty much there. All that remains to do, and you see I should have covered that bit, because the bit that's going to stick down is actually that bit. So not to worry, these things can be resolved. Right, so let's just first get the bit that's going to go on the side here. Having a lovely quiet weekend, ladies. Nobody to disrupt me too much. Getting things done. Isn't it amazing? I mean, love the family and friends, do, but it's more the family on the weekend. And then everybody needs my attention, and I don't get as much done as I'd like to. So not so much of that today. Right, so here we go. This is going to go over here. I wanted that bit, didn't I? Yep. And then let's just match that there. And there's my little mark. I'll just take that off. And then we're going to stick that over there. Right, so let's just smooth that nicely. Okay, so there we go, that's that bit. Now I just want to sort out that, because it will be sticking down like that, and that bit will be showing over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a bit of a curvy one there. So I quite like this. So what I will do is I'm just going to, wrong side, Angela. Give it a bit of an irregular tear like that. Such a nice piece of paper, this. Oh, just love antique papery and all the little delicate flowers and the little bit of script. Oh gosh, just love, love, love. Right, so now I'm going to just stick that over there like that, and it just finishes that off as well. So if I just mark with my pencil a little line there, then I'm gonna just cut it to match the other side, and then we can just stick that on. And there we see, when you don't work it out properly the first time like I just did, and you have a gap and you think you're on another side and you're not, then you just make a plan. So there, we've made a plan. It's easy. It's the joy of this hobby, isn't it? You can just make a plan. So let's just press that down. There's a bit of glue there. Oops. Right, sorry about that. And then we just smooth that over like that. So there, that's looking lovely. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Right, now the better bits, the parts I really like doing. I mean, I love it all, but my favorite bits. Now what we want to do is we want to decorate it. So at this point, if you're going to glue it, then I would suggest that you do that. So these bits over here, just glue in the side here, and glue in the gusseted bits. That's where we're gluing. Yeah, glue in there. And then, what have I just done? Oh, yeah. Looking for the bone fold, it's right next to me. All right, and then what we want to do is, if you're not gluing, you want to run a little bead of glue up to the top of this bit here. All right, and then the same on that side. So just on the inside, like that. Just smooth it out a bit. Okay. Lid on. Okay, and then you can just push that down like that. Yeah, and that side. And if any's coming out, which slightly is on this side, just wipe it down. Wipe it down. I've got my little pegs. You can just peg it until it dries, and the same on this side. So wipe that down. Sorry, like that. So that'll keep it together while it's drying. Okay, so we'll have that, and then that's the bit you're going to glue down to the book. So we'll just hold that all together for a minute. Yeah, and then let's finish off the top here. So what I've got is, I've got a little bit of a scrap of lace. So I'm going to use that for the top here. And then I was going to show you how I make a bit of a cluster with this. So I've got a little paper flower, just a round paper flower. You can cut this out or draw it yourself and cut a flower shape. And then what I do is, I've got a pile of little scraps in a little lid over here. I mean, I keep the tiniest scraps. Just look how sad I am. Yeah, tiny. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take that flower. I'm going to take this little scrap of sari, which I've trimmed from something to neaten it. Then I've got a tiny little piece of cheesecloth, and I'm going to stick that on the top there like that. That's all. So I'm just put that like that, like there we go. And I don't want it to be these bits too far over, so just sort of grip them there like that. And then I've got a really tiny little button. It's in the shape of a flower. I mean, this is tiny, look at that. And then I'm going to stick that on the top there, grip some of those cheesecloth bits underneath. Don't know if you can see that. I'll show you when it's all finished, like that. And now I'm going to stitch, just got a needle here, some thread. I think it's embroidery thread actually, and I'm just going to hold the thread at the bottom and line up my button so it's where I need it. This is a fiddly job, but just make sure before you sew it down properly that it's all centered as you want it. Right, that looks about it. And then we just do that. Right, so one more. Oops. Don't want to shove the needle in my finger. It's not easy when you can't see what you're doing underneath, is it? Okay, I think I got the spot now. Right, no. Oh, Angela, what are you doing? There we go. Oh, no, almost. Sorry, ladies. Okay, so let's try this again. This would happen to me on camera, you know. There we go. So we're in through there. This is my last little stitch, and we're out through there. Right, so, and then cut it not too far down. Right, so how cute is that button? I tell you, that is cute, isn't it? Right, so that's how I make a little cluster on a flower. Now I'm going to stick it in between this little lacy bit, which has got a bit of a pearl on it. Look at that, how cute is it? Can you see? I'm trying to look right like that, and then we're going to stick that on the end there. So I'm going to position it so that I just catch the cut off end underneath. So you see, I've just tucked that bit in under there, and I'll position it with a glue that it sort of just looks like it was made to come out of that part. Sorry, getting my words wrong. like that. So let me stick that down and then I'll show you. Right, so make it flat, it's easier. Use your 3-in-1. Keep wanting to say Fabri-Tac. Just glue this. Lift up this bit here. Put that bit over the top. And that bit nicely underneath. So it's just emerging. That's the word, emerging. I just want to get a very thin layer. Yeah, because I don't want it to come through on the actual ribbon. Just to get that to cooperate. Oh, that's better. Right, and then we're going to take the back of this and we're going to put some glue on that, not too liberal, and then we're going to stick that just in the middle there. So there we go. Oops, sorry. How pretty is that? Yeah. Okay, and that's sort of cooperating a little bit better. Maybe I put some up here as well, just ever so little, just to get it to catch down there. Right. Yeah, these scraggly bits I don't like, so they're off. Right, there we go. So we've got the top done, and I think that looks beautiful. Okay, so now this should be almost dry. So let's try and see if it is. Fingers crossed. Right, so you've got your pocket now, and that is nice and dry. You've got your pocket in there, and you've got your pocket in there, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do first of all is take my circle punch, which I have in the drawer here. Gosh, how I got that out was a miracle. And then I'm going to just go into the back of this, line it up evenly on each side. And take that out. That will make it better to get hold of, open this bit, because it's on the harder bits of the cardboard. And then just take your tool and just go over that. So there we go, that's easier to get in there now. Right, so we've got all of that. That's all nicely closed up. Yeah, and now all that remains to be done is the bottom bit here. So I'm going to take a piece of music paper. We're going to just take a small bit, so just a little bit, half an inch, even less than, just less than half an inch. It's lovely and soft. This is nice and old. Okay, and then it's just a case of, let's go like this, pleat it with your fingers. Yeah, one more. And then I'm just going to tear it off there like that. And that's going to go onto the bottom here. But I'm also going to put a little bit of lace on the bottom here, so we can stick that down. And then I wanted to put a little bit of what do we call it? A script. A little bit of script, if I can find it. Who knows where that went? Behind me. Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think we'll use a little bit of that. It's not as dark as I was hoping, but that's okay. We'll put that. Just tear this bit off here, like that. Okay, so we're going to stick that like that, this like this, and we're going to stick this underneath there like that. Right, so sorry, faffing. I'm faffing. Let's put a very light bit of a distress on that, just to take any of the harsh white away. This one I'm not going to really worry about too much. And what I'm going to do is, you can stick that down if you want. But what I thought I'd do is I'll stick it down. Let's do that, because I did say to one of the subscribers that she said she doesn't have a sewing machine. Can I do something without sewing? So we won't stitch today. Right, so what we'll do is we'll stick that down like that. Like that. That's nice. Could use double-sided tape with this as well. So let's just cut off the edge there, make it nice and neat. And then I will show you, if you don't have a machine, then it's just a case of putting a little dot of glue in there and squeezing. Little dot, little dot, little dot. There we go. So now you squeeze that all down, you've got the same effect. Yeah, and you can always do a faux stitch line, which we'll do in a minute, and then you can see what I'm on about. Now we want to get this down, so let's just put another bit of glue like that and stick this bit over the edge of the line like that. Just hold that down for a second. It's one thing I love about this glue is how quickly it works, you know. Okay, now we want to take this bit and, oops, I went over the edge a bit, and we want to stick that on this side here. So let's just, oops, do it like that. Okay, right, so far so good. Now if you wanted a false stitching line, I'm just looking at my Zig pen, just go and draw it in, so we can just, you know, this looks like a stitch line. You can do it in any color as well, and you don't have to cut the ends off. So there we go, that'll work, and that looks perfect. It looks just the same. Yeah, so there we have it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a collection of little flowers over here. So let me show you how I do that. So I've got a couple of these flowers, and I know people are going to ask me where I get them from. I got these cheap on eBay. They're just little paper flowers. They come in pastel shades, so that's what they are. And then I got tinier flowers, and these came from Hobbycraft, so I don't want the light shining on there. So they're just Hobbycraft floral embellishments. You get 60 paper flowers in a pack, so I've got them in the 3 colors that I normally use. So that's that. So we'll open those up, and what I need is I need 2 pink, a cream, and a blue. So I want a cream. These are really cute because they are tiny. If I measure one of these, you'll see that in fact it is it's 10 millimeters, so it's like less than half an inch. So we want one of those, we want one of these, and I love these colors, so pretty. We want one of these ones, and I want 2 pink ones. Right, so let's go one like that and one like that. I've got a bit of glitter on the one, so there we go, that's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are just going to make a little arrangement. So I just put the pink in the blue in the pink, as you do. Right, so that was going in there. And then this is going in there, little dab of blue in there, right, like that. And then I've got two others just going about on their own. So what I need to do now is I needed a little bit of pink fabric, so let's just see if I have that. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted some of this material, which is some of that Liberty of London. It's really lovely, and I just want to cut a little bit here, really little, and then I just tear it. So I might just tear the whole strip. Right. And then all I want to do is I'm going to pleat a little bit of that like that. Just that's it really. Okay, so we'll just put that in the pack, and then I'm going to stick that on the end there like that. So let's do that quickly. And you can sew this again if you want. It's up to you. But we're not sewing at the moment. We're trying to do this without the sewing. So we're going to stick that down. Yeah, so that's sticking well. And then I had a little bit of tulle somewhere. What did I do with that? Oh yes, I had a little bit of tulle. This is just a scrap of this soft tulle. I'm just trying to give some texture to this. So we're going to stick that on the top at a bit of an angle as well. So let's put that on. Okay, so we have got that, and then I'm going to just layer my flowers on top of that. So I'm going to put the pink one at the bottom there. There we go. Just do it around the base more than anything. Don't want everything to lie flat as a pancake, so let's just do it just above. So you're going to have some of your pink showing. Then we want to take the blue one and put that slightly at an angle up like that. So let's do that again around the bottom. As I said, don't do it all over and make the thing lie as flat as a pancake. So don't be afraid to go a little bit off the edge of the page either. All right, so, oops. Nearly took the bead off in the middle. I'll just stick that back on. There we go. Right, and then we want to get another one of the little pink ones and squash them up a bit, yeah, and put a little bit of glue there like that. Stick that one down. Gosh, my fingers are full of glue, absolutely chockers. Right, and then this one is looking a bit flat, so again just squash it up, yeah, and I'm going to put that one up there like that. Oops, have that one down there like that. Go on then. Right, so there we've got a little collection of that. So it's coming along nicely, look at that. Right, so all I want to do is, I don't like threads. Okay, what I want to do now is the last little bit is just put on the little bit of a bloom. So what I've done is I've taken my words that I stamp out on a piece of paper, I've stuck it on a piece of very fine cotton, which I've tea dyed, so there we go, and I've frayed the edges. So that I'm going to stick, I think on this whiter bit over here. So let's do that. We'll do that. Oops. Okay, so there we've got it. And then move that up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Right, so all that I want to do now is is put my butterflies on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, to keep this closed, I'm going to just use a little one of these clips with a little bit of a tag on it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to put on our butterflies. So I've got 3 here. And what I like to do first of all is, because these are hand cut, any bit where there's a little bit of white like that, I just like to go like this, and it goes. So there's a tip for you. Any fussy cutting and you want to make sure it looks like you are a perfectionist and cut every last sliver of white off, you put that on and it's all gone. How's that for a tip? Right, so we've got that over there. So let's stick that one down first of all. So we've got the big one over there. The bottom. Okay, and then got this one again. Just do the edges, just the edges. Takes all the white away. Okay, and then stick that down. You don't have to stick them flat, but of course, because it's going in a journal, you know, they do go pretty flat. So that one's that way. So I'll have this one this way. And I don't want to stick the other one on the birdie, so I'm going to move it somewhere else. Just do this, all the edges, like that. Grip it over there. Gosh, my hands are full of glue. I love peeling off this glue. Who enjoys peeling off the glue? I definitely do. So we'll just do it over here, this side of the bird. Right. So I think let's just move that one a bit down and that one a bit like that. Coolio. Right, so now last step, ladies. Probably I'm going crazy by now. Oops, and a little bit there. Like that. Last step of the day, pokey tool, and the little details make the difference. So we'll put that over there. We'll put this. Oops. It stuck itself somewhere else. Put that one over there. Oops. Oh gosh, everything's going wrong. Right, there we go. And then the very last one. They're alive now, they're jumping. Okay, and then that one can go there. How cool is that? Right, so look at that. We've got our little flowers at the bottom. We've got our little butterflies with their details. We've put in a little word there, a little bit of lace, some more layering with some music paper. And then at the top, I showed you how to make a cluster, layered it up with some sticking through, and how pretty is that? You open that up and you can, let me grip one of these things somewhere. Here we go, that'll work. You can easily put something in that pocket in the middle there. So that would work, or behind there. So you've got like a secret one, and that goes in nice and easy. We're going to stick this bit here onto our page, and that means we can lift it up nicely and you can write on there. How nice is that? Stick this down just with the 2 sides onto your page, like that. And that means if it's just those 2 sides, you've still got a tuck spot underneath there. You could even put a little booklet underneath there if you wanted to. Just depends how, you know, how much you don't mind it being too chubby. So there we go. How's that? So that can just go on the top there. That's how I'm going to close it. But obviously there are other ways to, other closures and things that you can use. So for me, I'm going to use that. And I think that looks really cute. So that would work. And then here's the other one I made earlier. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. I will say that I have received some of my subscriber friendship journal entries that have started coming in, and I'm just waiting for a couple more, and I will do the first video of what the subscribers have done. And let me tell you, it's looking lovely. Now I do want to say something to everybody, because I've had a couple of people say to me, oh, that they won't match up to my style and things like this. Ladies, this is, you know, you admire my style. I promise you, I admire your style. So don't be intimidated by anything I do. This is not about me. I'm looking for a piece of you, and I'm going to love and cherish anything that you send me, as long as it's made by yourself. That's all. So don't be afraid. Remember, if you're not sure, you've got a single piece of paper, can be tea dyed or whatever you want, avocado dyed, like this. You're folding it in half. You're decorating 1, 2, 3, 4 sides in your style. As long as it's pastel shades, I don't mind what you do. So please don't feel like you haven't been journaling for long or whatever. It's not about that at all. All right, it's really just for me to get to know you, and this is your entry, and it's going to be part of my friendship journal, which is going to be the world to me. So please go ahead and do it. If you really don't want me to show your entry, well, then just say that to me, because I will ask you if you're happy for me to film it. I'm not going to just film it. I want your permission. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for, I hope you have a go at making these for your journals, and go ahead and enter the challenge. You've still got plenty time. It ends, I think it was the 21st of March. All right, so if you feel that you don't have enough time for it to get over here because you're in a different part of the world, just get in contact with me. All right, thank you so much. Lovely to spend time with you as always, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Goodbye.